Hello, everybody. Welcome to our film club discussion of Gaza Fights for Freedom, put out by the Empire Files, which is an Abby Martin project. If you don't know about Abby's work, you should. She's been working on Palestine and Gaza for many years and has been doing really wonderful work. So I hope that you'd had a chance to see this film, but part of what we're doing in the film club series, I hope, is for both of us, meaning me and whoever else is watching, take a moment. Usually I try to give a week's notice to watch a film that's usually free or maybe available by donation, to watch it, maybe take some notes, write down some ideas, and then to share them in this live stream. We can chat, talk about it. So I'll start on my side, which is to say this is a devastating film, as so many films about Palestine and particularly Gaza are, especially when we have so much digital footage in high resolution. We're able to see people being murdered with clarity that we've never been able to see before. The film starts us with one family, a father scavenging with his children through rubble for things that he could sell, bits of plastic or metal. And it ends with another family, potentially more well known to some people, Razan al-Najjar's family. Razan is that beautiful, charismatic nurse that was killed in the Great March of Return. And I would say that the film, while giving us a general scope of things, which I think any of these documentaries generally have to do, they have to do some sketches here and there. The great focus of this film, for me, is the Great March of Return. And if you're unfamiliar with the Great March of Return, this was started March the 30th of 2018 by, I'm going to look at his name because I don't want to get it wrong, Ahmed Abu Artema. He wanted to show a form of peaceful protest. Remember, the narrative always is that these are animals who know only one type of word, that's violence. And what we have here in so many pieces of footage which are put into the documentary is of people peacefully marching up to the line. Israel cannot tolerate even unarmed people walking up to a fence line in order to show their resistance. It's not even armed resistance. If you were even to say, all right, they're throwing rocks, okay, you're never going to get killed by a rock. You will get killed by a sniper bullet in the head. But the facts are there. 0 Israelis were killed during the Great March of Return. Hundreds of Palestinians were killed. Shot in the head, shot in the torso, children, medics, press, disabled people, all victims, because Israel is so strong and so powerful and so mighty that they can't even accept unarmed people walking up to a fence line. A fence line, which, by the way, keeps them in the largest open-air prison in the world, which is the Gaza Strip. So I think the film does an excellent job of bringing us this heartbreaking footage, and also to say a few words here and there, pointing out that Hamas has parsed the difference between Zionism and Judaism, is willing to accept a two-state solution based on pre-1967 boundaries, and has publicly stated that. But as we've continued to note on this channel, and other people have noted long before this channel ever existed, Israel's not interested in a two-state solution. The reason there is no two-state solution is Israel has never accepted it. They only recently even accepted that the Palestinian people exist, but they exist as human animals who are cockroaches, who are snakes, who need to be wiped out. Whether they're men, women, or children, doesn't matter to them. So we get to meet so many of the Palestinians through interviews in the film, and I'm so edified and impressed, as I see so often in the documentaries. There is obviously anger and resentment. To say that's not there, it would be silly. But there's so much nobility of spirit, so much just willingness to resist to the end. Particularly at the al-Najjars at the end of the film, Razan's mother, father, and sister are all there just speaking. Obviously, there's a lot of emotion right below the surface, but so much clarity about what is happening to them and what they hope for other people to understand about the Palestinian situation, and what was recently said in the Palestinian Festival of Literature in London, I want to say last week, that strongly worded condemnations, the time for this has passed, that action has to be taken. And in a very small way, we as people, and Abby alludes to this at the end of the film, can participate in the BDS movement, boycott, divestment, and sanction. That we can choose to buy products that have nothing to do with the settlements, that have nothing to do with the state of Israel, and that have nothing to do with its weapons industry. And this is a legitimate form of resistance that we can participate in. We don't need to fly to Gaza and fight the IDF ourselves. And most of us are not capable of that anyway. If we did, we know you'd get slaughtered by a drone in about 5 seconds. But what we can do is very simple. Don't buy that brand of toothpaste. Don't buy that type of fast food. Don't buy this particular type of cereal. Don't buy this type of coffee. And that has been seen over and over and over to really hurt, such that you can see, and Ilan Pape has talked about this, look at what the Israeli reaction was. They instantly had to create an anti-BDS movement because they panicked. They realized this could hit them where it really hurts, which is finances. If there is no money, you cannot buy weapons, and you cannot keep up the charade of the state of Israel. And so BDS has the potential, if people really adhere to it and stick to it, it has the potential to do great things. And there's an app, the No Thanks app, which someone on a live stream had brought up to my attention, and I check it. I don't often, let's say, buy things on impulse. I tend to, maybe the only thing I buy on impulse is books, but there's not really a BDS product for that. I also tend to buy a lot of used books. But if you're out shopping and you're unfamiliar, just consult it. And I think there's even some apps that it'll scan the product and it'll let you know not to support these companies, these entities that have anything to do with supporting the occupation, and not just the occupation, but the murder of civilians. One of the videos, which has circulated in social media recently, I didn't realize was so old. It actually was featured in this film, because I think this documentary is from 2018 or 2019. And it shows, you can hear the audio and the video. They're looking through a scope and they shoot a unarmed Palestinian in the head. And what a legendary video. Amazing. Great job. They're just basically high-fiving each other. And this is what the occupation looks like. And as Gideon Levy has noted over and over, what can you hope will be generated by such a people? By people who celebrate the murder of unarmed civilians. These are potential future fathers of Israeli children. Can we hope that these children will cure diseases, will be peacemakers, will write great symphonies, will write great poetry when they come from such murderous stock of parents who are going to say, we are better than all these other people, and they are going to teach them that from a young age? What can we hope for from these young Israeli children? Gideon Levy talks about it all the time. It's not just a one-way trauma. Yes, obviously the Palestinians are bearing the brunt of it visibly, but what we can't see is what's happening to the Israelis inside. It's destroying their souls, it's destroying their spirits, destroying who they are. You cannot treat other humans this way without injury to yourself. It's impossible, because humans are composed of body and soul, and whether you like it or not, your soul is being damaged when you treat your fellow humans this way. And for those of us who know that this world is just passing, there will be a judgment that will come after this. So you may escape justice in this world, but you will not escape justice in the next world. So you can shoot your social media videos and celebrate the murder of people. You will have to account for that. And if you don't repent, the judgment will be heavy with you. I wrote down some other thoughts. The use of chemical weapons, the use of illegal explosive bullets, the murder of press and medics. This is all stuff we witnessed. And the irony of the rocks being thrown. Those of you who are familiar with the story of David and Goliath, David slew Goliath with a stone. And the irony that the Jews are the Goliath in this scenario, the IDF are Goliath in this scenario, and it's the Palestinians who are David. There's there's a lot of irony there. But as usual, I admire the nobility of spirit being demonstrated by so many of the Palestinians in the interviews, in the videos that we saw. If you haven't had a chance to see this film, I really recommend that you do. As I say, support Empire Files. After I watched the documentary, I went over, I added Empire Files to the Patreon that I'm following, and then I sent a small donation to Abby just to thank her for the work that she did on this. And hopefully you can send more in the future. As I've said before, Palestine Bookshelf at the moment is very much a labor of love. It is a net loss on my finances, but over time, hopefully we can get the channel monetized and getting more money to the Palestine Children's Relief Fund, which is our main charity. Anything that has to do with Palestine, I don't see the point of having a channel focused on Palestine without the majority of what is earned for the channel going to Palestine and its cause. But at the moment, there's not any funds being earned by Palestine Bookshelf. As I say, it's a net loss at the moment. But if you'd like to help spread the channel, that will help us get to a level of monetization at some point, hopefully in the near future. So share this live stream with people who you think might be interested in seeing this documentary. And also remember, take the time to see the documentary yourself so that you can share this with some insight. And maybe you'll see this first and then you'll get interested in seeing the documentary. Obviously, there's a link to it in the description. But also follow Empire Files, follow Abby Martin, see the work she's doing. You'll get educated. Can't encourage it enough. Take a quick look at the chat to see if there are any questions. Otherwise, we might end the stream early today. If there aren't any questions or any comments. All right. So, as I say, please take a look at Gaza Fights for Freedom by Empire Files. Check out Empire Files, check out Abby Martin, support their work, and learn more about the Great March of Return, a wonderful recent nonviolent uprising from the Palestinians against the narrative that all they are violent terrorists. What happens is when the nonviolence goes forward, the nonviolent protests go forward, Israel has to respond with lethal force. They cannot allow the world to see nonviolent protest. And again, you will be edified by the courage of the Palestinians against the odds that they're facing. Thanks for taking the time to stop by this week's film club. I'll have the next film club up soon. Remember, try to watch it. That way we can have a helpful discussion exchange. I'm always learning from you all as an audience. You're always sharing things for me to learn, either books or films or just concepts or ideas. So please feel free to do that. Andrew, thanks for what you do. Well, Andrew, thanks for coming by and supporting the stream today. I'll see you all next week.